the extent to which you connect with anything decides your identity. As a woman, to connect with being a woman, well, there's your identity. Do you connect with speaking Spanish or English or Hindi or Latin or Greek? Well, there's your identity. Do you connect with where you live? The country you were born in or the country you live in? The country you grew up in, or maybe both are the same. What about the church you pray in, the temple you go to, the mosque you pray in, the synagogue you go to? The extent to which we involve ourselves in things around us decides how much we're going to be involved in it and what part of ourselves we're going to give to it. This relationship that you have with things around you, in Sanskrit we call this Moham, delusion. Moham. Complete delusion. Because you believe it exists, you believe it's important, and you allow it to control you. And there is your biggest problem. I'm a woman, right? Now, every time somebody says something, even the slightest derisive comment, and I'm up in arms. And I'm fighting for all the women, right? And what are people doing for their faith? Fighting, calling other people names. What are people doing for their political party? What are people doing for their country, going into other countries and fighting? Do you think anybody cares? Do you think your religion cares whether you're fighting or not? They're very happy you're coming up in their favor and laying down your life for their cause. But it's not the religion that cares, it's the people that run it. It's not the country that cares, it's the politicians who run it. It's not the political party that cares, it's the politicians who want power out of you. Everybody will use you because they understand that one of the most basic things that all human beings want is to belong. Yes. We want more than anything. Why is that? Why is it that we feel so strongly that we want to belong to this group of women, to this group of ladies that meets every Thursday, that plays thing, that dances Zumba, that does all these wonderful things? Why do we want to belong? Because hardwired into our DNA is this idea from the time we were hunters and gatherers that if we did not belong, we would die. If we did not belong, we would die. Because alone, we could not survive in the wild. So the worst thing that could happen is for someone to be just let alone in the wild. And that's why this is so hardwired into our DNA. We feel that we need the whole world to survive. We need to belong to something. We need to claim identity somewhere. But the problem is, each one of us is going to place our identity in different things. Mm-hmm. For one person, it's religion. For another person, it's country. For another person, it's relationships, having their children, what their children do and being part of it and being, included in the family and all of that. For many people, our identity is our body. To look good at all times. No wrinkles, clear skin, all muscles working extremely well. Nothing can hurt. Teeth looking white and shiny. No chips allowed. You got to be able to hear clearly. All of these things, when you start losing them, there is a panic that sets in. Because we're so closely connected to it that we cannot pull ourselves out and say, I am not this body that's aging. If I know that something outside me is aging, that means I can see it. And I know that I am not an object. I am the subject. I am the one that sees all this. I'm the one that notices all this. Can a light see itself? Can your eye see itself except in a mirror as a reflection? It's so important to understand that whatever you're identified with, whatever you think is real, is not. None of it is real. This relationship you think you have with your husband, with your child, with your mother, nothing lasts. Everything has a lifespan. It's there and then it goes. It's there and then it goes. And if you're very closely connected to it, losing it can be devastating. Devastating. So extremely early, besides understanding that your life is yours alone, there is a deeper understanding that doesn't come in one Wednesday class. It comes from listening to the knowledge again and again. When you raise yourself to higher standards, then you start to look at things globally. Let me explain it to you. I've done this metaphor many times. Supposing you're standing next to a rose, and that's here. It's right there in front of your face. And there is a big bumblebee inside it. It's right there. And now you don't want to go very close to it because you think it's going to bite you on your nose. But you're actually looking at it through a camera lens. And now you zoom out a little bit. And now you see the rose bush. You see a little bit of grass. The bumblebee. It's far away because you've zoomed out, right? And now you zoom out a little bit more. And now you can see the full garden. And you can see the rose bush. You can see the bumblebee's a little dot there. But it's still there. It's not bothering you so much. But now you zoom out even more. Now it's the whole house. Somewhere in the corner there's grass. There's a garden. And there's a rose and there's a bumblebee. But you don't even notice it. You don't see it at all. What do you need to do in life? You need to zoom out. We are too zoomed in to all of these things, too tied into all of these things. We pay too much attention to our emotions, how we feel. Oh, I feel good and I feel bad and I feel sexy and I feel this and I feel that. What is a feeling? It comes, it goes. The more you attach yourselves to the feelings associated with things, with people, with events, the more you're setting yourself up for disaster. You cannot enjoy something if you're tied to it. It's too close. Then the joy becomes too joyous and the crash becomes overwhelming. You don't want to be so happy or so sad. That's why I bring you into the fold of meditation, because meditation is floating the surface. You're neither too happy, you're not too sad, you don't have everything, but you don't need anything. That's where the training for meditation brings you into that field. And automatically when you meditate, you pull back a little bit from the intensity of life. What is it that gives you suffering? It's the intensity, the gripping nature of life that gives you fear, that gives you guilt, that gives you severe anxiety. What if my child gets kidnapped? Oh my God. You've read about something in the paper, now you're worried it's going to happen to you. Yeah. What are these fears? This is nonsense. This is no way to lead your life. Till it happens, don't worry about it. If it happens, guaranteed you'll have the strength to deal with it. Because stuff happens, okay? Stuff happens to everybody. To everybody. But am I going to be so caught up in it that I can't think straight? Or I'm going to let go? Usually, in very difficult situations, the calm that comes over you would be amazing. You'd be amazed to see how well you respond. It's thinking about it that really causes all the problem. So stop thinking.
What do we do then?
The simple thing.
And my brain doesn't know what to do.
You have to let thinking go. You know, I have a student in the other class, and I talked to her because she was getting her 4th round of chemo. And I said, how are you doing? How are you dealing with it? Because this is what the training is for, right? This is what it's for, when it's really tough stuff coming your way. And she says, I've just stopped thinking. I just go for my chemo. I do my breathing. I go for a walk. I cook my food. I do everything. I just don't think. You give up thinking. How do you give up thinking? You meditate more. The more you meditate, the more you catch yourself going into negative thinking or going into habits of thinking that don't serve you. Habits of attaching yourself to people that bring you down.
That's what my daughter says. She doesn't see it on the news. She says, I don't like it. I don't
Correct.
want to think about it, and I don't want to know.
Exactly.
To watch the Channel 7 news, for example,
Yeah, it's
in
too
the
much.
late afternoon. It's one negative issue after another.
It is.
It is. There are many things. I mean, that's out there. That's one thing. But can you dissociate from what's happening to your parents?
Can you what?
Dissociate from what's happening with your parents. Like that journey, it's easy to get rid of things that don't really matter to you. They don't matter. You can turn off the Channel 7 news or the Channel 6 news, whatever it is that you're listening to. But if I tell you, don't bother about your husband. Just don't bother about him. Pull away from him. You do what has to be done. For your own sanity, keep your distance. Can you do it? No. No. It's hard because why? Part of your identity, who you think you are, is connected to him. You think you're a mother. You think so strongly, you feel so strongly about being a mother, you cannot let your kids go. You cannot let them be. Let that hat go, that motherhood hat, take it and throw it away. And then enjoy your children. Now you're not a mother. You're just watching. When you're needed, when you're called, you help them. You're not called, It doesn't bother you. No, and call me. Nobody's looking at my phone. Nobody's calling me. Nobody's texting me. I haven't had my call all week. Right? We struggle. We suffer so much because of this. Take the hat off. So I've shown you in this talk so many different things. So many different things that you can do to pull away. But you need to develop that awareness. You need to develop that awareness to know that this is not helping me. This is pulling me down. This is making me a difficult person. This is making it difficult for my life to be comfortable and just comfortable and okay. So the problem is we don't think enough about the things that bother us. We follow our thoughts. We keep following our thoughts. And that's not the best way to be. Ever stop and think, what thoughts are coming every day? What thoughts are bothering me? You try a morning meditation. It'll be totally different from the thoughts that come in the evening meditation. Evening meditations have a quality of their own. Morning meditations have a quality of their own. Both are wonderful. Both are very much needed. It is only when you meditate that you discover your thoughts, because those thoughts will come to you when you start meditating. It's not any different thoughts that are going to come. It's the same thoughts about your kids and your husband and your body and your wrinkles and your hair. It's the same nonsense that goes on. And you realize, you decide, these thoughts serve me. These don't. What am I doing thinking about this? The day you wake up and you say, stop, I'm not going to think about that thought for 1 minute more. That's your first awakening. That is the first enlightenment in your life. I'm not going to think about that anymore. The first time you let go of a dear friend and just let them go. That is the best thing you can do. Toxic relationships never serve you. Because sometimes the closest people around you, a family member, a friend, is toxic for you. And when you awaken to that, and when you let them go, you feel very much lighter. Very much lighter. Surround yourself with people that nurture you
And bring you up.
and lift you up always. But don't rely, just remember one thing, and it'll come to it. I am not any of this. I am not the relationship. I'm not my body. I'm not my breath. I'm not anything connected to the things around me. I'm not connected to money. I'm not connected to religion. I'm not connected to a house, to any of my possessions. I am much beyond that. I am that which knows all of this happens. And that's all there is to know. Om Namah Shivaya. Hey everyone, thanks for visiting my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and turn on notifications so I can continue to bring you more content just like this on knowledge, on meditation, and on insights for a happy life. Don't forget, happiness is your birthright.